Hello, new and returning Davidson County poll officials. This video will cover details that are critical to the poll official position, most of which is covered in our recent orientation information sessions. We want this material to be accessible to and mastered by all of our poll officials, seasoned and new, so hang around for the rest of the video. The number of registered voters in Davidson County sits around 460,000. This number fluctuates monthly. For example, think about how many people move into and out of the county. To accommodate the almost 500,000 voters, we have 178 polling places across Nashville, which are represented by the yellow pins on the map. Our polling places are typically familiar to the public, like community centers, libraries, schools, churches, and firehouses. We divided the county into borough zones, as seen in this map. We use these zones to determine where to best place you on election day. We find that people feel more comfortable working in areas of town they live in, work in, or travel through regularly. Did you know, when you get your appointment availability email, you have the ability to update the zones you're interested in working in. We also have to take Tennessee state requirements and our interests into account when staffing polling places. By law, we have to have at least 4 poll officials in each of our locations. If you can do quick math, that's 712 poll officials at a minimum. We also must have more than one political party represented at each polling place. We ask you for your political affiliation because Tennessee is an open primary state, meaning you don't have to register with a specific political party. On occasion, we need to move people to other polling places to satisfy these poll official minimum and party requirements. Every poll official has a role in their polling place. The one officer manages the location. They pick up supplies beforehand and then return those supplies and results at the end of the night. They also handle any kind of detailed voter concern. The 2 precinct registrars ensure voters are in the right place and are prepared for voting. They will also process any provisional voters. The judge or machine operator will set up the voting machines and help the voters print and scan their ballots. Reminder, there could be more PRs or MOs depending on the voter population at your location. If you have a reservist at your location, they are trained as both a PR and an MO. They are also willing to travel if needed. All poll officials have the same basic job duties. Everyone will complete training for their specific role before every election. Poll officials must assist with setting up the voting location from 6 to 7 a.m. before the polls open. Also ensure proper procedures are being followed throughout the day and help your officer with any needs as requested. Finally, assist with closing the polls at 7 p.m. or until the last voter has voted on election night. Training is paid and comes in the form of an email. There will be 3 links in that email, one to the manual, one to the YouTube videos, and one to the quiz. You can complete your training at your own pace. If you complete it in one sitting, it will take you about an hour and a half. However, you need to complete your training within the first 1 to 2 weeks of us sending it out because we cannot place you until we get your score. If you would like to take part in our voluntary hands-on labs, they are in person at our office at a come-and-go pace. You will receive the various dates and time schedules after the online training is sent out. You can get acquainted with the equipment and discuss questions with officers on hand. If you are going to work on election day, make sure you vote early. You can vote at any of our early voting polling places during the 14-day period. As a poll official, you also qualify for absentee or mail-in voting. You can request a mail-in ballot anywhere from 90 to 10 days prior to Election Day at our website. Election Day voting may not be an option for poll officials, as you must vote at your specific location based off your address, and we cannot guarantee you will be placed at your location. On Election Day, dress for success as you are representing Davidson County and the DCEC. Our dress code is business casual. Jeans are okay as long as there are no rips or tears, but make sure that what you are wearing is comfortable for moving and for sitting. Dress for the weather or the building. Schools are typically cold, and fire halls are open to the outside weather. Layers are recommended. We stress that a neutral environment is best. We are here to help the public vote, not to influence their voting choices. Therefore, campaign or party attire like t-shirts, buttons, stickers, slogans, words, or associated colors are not allowed. You are also prohibited from wearing anything that is on the ballot. Think about transportation referendums, school board, or any of the courts. Revealing or inappropriate clothing is also prohibited. Leggings or athleisure can only be worn under skirts or dresses. No headphones or open-toed shoes either. We want you to stay safe and neutral. The 100-foot boundary, a campaign-free zone around every polling place, impacts voter attire, candidates, campaign and police, and press. The rules for voter attire are very similar to yours as a poll official. However, they are allowed a little bit more wiggle room. They are not allowed to wear associated words, slogans, faces, or animals of topics or people on the ballot. However, voters can wear things that are no longer on the ballot. So if a voter wanted to wear a shirt supporting a former president that is not on the ballot, that is allowed. Pay close attention to t-shirts, hats, buttons, and stickers. Candidates cannot give out campaign material or interact with voters within the boundary. However, they are allowed inside after the polls have closed. Police are given a 10-foot boundary and are only allowed inside to vote. Press must sign in, show a photo ID, and show the pre-authorized letter signed by the AOE. They cannot film voters' information, selections, or faces without the voters' consent. Maintain professionalism throughout Election Day. Leave the politics on the ballot by preventing discussion of politics or politicians at the polling place. No posting online about voting activities. In addition, no phone calls, videos, or video calls for you or the voters. Voters can use their phones for research if needed. No discussions about the ballot can occur. You cannot answer questions pertaining to the content of the ballot. You can answer questions about the voting process or how to use the machines. The voter comes first, so no phones, books, or tablets out when assisting voters. If you bring something to keep you occupied during slow periods, you should be able to put it down quickly. We recommend you get prepared for Election Day. Here is a reminder of the Election Day schedule. You must arrive at 6 a.m. sharp, and we expect you will leave around 8 p.m. You are on site for the entire Election Day, so no leaving to get food or let pets out. After you have packed up the polling place, make sure you have not left any trash behind. Reminder, you may be asked to return results with your officer if you are of a different political party. We recommend you bring your training notes and videos on your phone if you need to reference any material. Bring any food, drinks, snacks, and medications you might need throughout the day. We also recommend you bring comfortable shoes or a seat cushion. Your officer may be able to give you more details regarding the food and seating situations prior to Election Day. On election night, we will send officers a text asking them to verify the last voter has voted at their polling place. By law, we can't release early voting totals to the press until we receive that confirmation. Officers, this is why that text is so crucial. We then take the early voting, Election Day, absentee, and provisional ballot totals to report the final totals. Here are some reminders of the post-election schedule. On election night, results and equipment are returned to the DCEC warehouse by the officer and their volunteer. The day after Election Day, officer evaluations will be sent out via email. 2 days after Election Day, all other poll officials receive their evaluations. All poll officials are asked for feedback regarding their Election Day experience. We do read them and take note of your feedback. You will also receive an email asking for any information updates you might have. Let us know of any banking, address, zone, or name changes you might have experienced recently. Please make sure to update voter registration with any address or name changes, as they will need a new voter registration form from you. You will be paid according to Metro's pay cycle. You will receive $175 for the day and $30 for training. If you returned results, you will receive $20 plus travel. The first time you are paid, you will receive a check. Further payments will come in the form of direct deposit or pay card. This is what the election staffing cycle looks like for us and for you. A lot of what we do is based on election law. 90 to 60 days before Election Day, every active poll official will receive the Appointment Availability Form. We have just over 2,000 active poll officials. You can always go back into this link that we emailed you to update your answer if your plans change. If you say no, you're not available, we will still ask for your availability the next cycle. We work on finalizing the training because 30 days before Election Day, the training email is sent out to all of those who said they were available. We typically have 1,200 poll officials say they are available to work. While poll officials are completing training and we are receiving scores, we begin to place you at locations. 10 days before Election Day, officers will receive their rosters and reach out to all of their workers. They can answer any questions you might have about your Election Day experience. 7 days or a week out before Election Day, all of our officials will receive their Election Day assignments via email. Then, Election Day happens. Last-minute poll official reassignments may occur in the 2 weeks prior to Election Day, as we typically lose 150 to 200 poll officials. Remember, we need to satisfy the 4 poll official minimum and political affiliation requirements. Finally, the post-election evaluation and update emails go out. Then, the cycle starts over again for the next election. For example, this is what the 2026 election cycle looks like. We will facilitate the staffing cycle 3 times this year. First for the May county primary, then for the August county general, state primary, federal primary, and Oak Hill municipal elections, and lastly for the November state general, federal general, and Belmead, Forest Hills, and Goodlettsville municipal elections. The dates of each early voting and Election Day cycle were sent to you on a postcard at the beginning of 2026. Here is what the 4-year election cycle looks like from 2026 to 2029. Every 4th year is scheduled to be an off year, but special elections can occur, like in 2025. There are 8 scheduled elections in this 4-year cycle, so get ready to head to the polls as a voter and poll official. Did you know there are more opportunities you can take part in as a poll official? Poll officials act as representatives at naturalization or citizenship ceremonies or high school registration events in cafeterias or classrooms. Poll officials also visit jails and nursing homes to process eligible voters. All absentee or mail-in ballots must be opened on Election Day, so some poll officials serve on our absentee counting board. On occasion, media requests to interview poll officials in TV, verbal, radio, or podcast interviews. Finally, before major elections, poll officials come to our office to help us process large numbers of registrations. If you are interested in any of these options, send us an email at helpvote@nashville.gov. We really appreciate all of our poll officials' efforts, no matter if you've been with us for 1 election or 20 years. Don't forget to check out our other YouTube videos and social media accounts. We wouldn't be able to successfully facilitate elections without you. Thank you.